What about in your fight for justice?
We're going to leave that in the hands of our lawyers right now, Crown Counsel. Probably an appeal will be launched. We'll leave that up to them.
Would you like to see an appeal?
I would, yes.
Do you feel that there's ever going to be any justice for this? Like, do you feel like there's ever going to be closure in this case?
Closure's an odd word. I personally don't think you ever get closure. I mean, Bev is always going to be dead. She's not coming back. What we do hope is that there's going to be some accountability.
Do you think that's still possible? I mean, it's been almost 12 years. Like, are your hopes fading, or how do you feel about that?
I'm an optimist.
Are you ready, though? I mean, that was 2 months of testimony. I'm sure it wasn't nice to see, some of the pictures you see on the news when we're covering the trial. How do you prepare for doing all that over again?
I don't know at this point. And you're right, we had no idea of the brutality, the horror of the whole attack on Bev. So it was extremely difficult.
What did you make of Mark Stobie's reaction yesterday as he came out of court? You've seen what he said. What did you think of that?
I guess we're not surprised. I think now Mark can move heaven and earth if he so desires to find the real killer, now that he's not a suspect.
Who do you think killed your sister?
Well, I think that's pretty obvious.
What do you think went wrong then in this trial?
Time, the length of time.
There are a number of prosecutors from other provinces who felt there wasn't enough evidence, hard evidence, to go forward with charges. I mean, do you see any fault on the part of the Crown here that there wasn't a conviction?
No, we don't. I think it was obvious who did this. I think we're shocked that 12 intelligent, people came to this conclusion. We'll never understand. We're not quitters. I'm sure someday, in some way, there will be justice. Apparently, the word beyond reasonable doubt has taken on a new meaning. I think we all need to write letters to your MLA, Manitoba, Minister of Manitoba Justice, regarding this travesty. I mean, domestic violence against women has got to be stopped.
Do you still keep in touch with Mark and his sons? Do you still keep in touch with his sons? How do you do that? Do you speak with Mark?
We speak through family members, not Mark, but we speak through family members. And the boys are older now. They can contact us and we can contact them independently.
Are you still close with them? With Beth's two sons?
I'm as close to them as I can be to my, as close to them as I am to my nieces, to my own children. I mean, they're part of us.
What do you think they think about what happened to their mother?
I'm not sure how much they know. I'm not sure if what they heard at the trial was, I think they were quite shocked and surprised. And I think, quite frankly, it was a little inappropriate to have them at the trial hearing that kind of gruesome evidence.
Barb, how difficult is this going to be to listen to all that testimony?
It's like reliving the murder, because we did not know that it was, that gruesome. We didn't know there was 16 chops to her head. We thought maybe a couple. We didn't know the details before this. It's like reliving it again.
How close were you with her?
We were very close years ago. My girls adored her.
I want to say that I'm so glad that, excuse me, my sister's come from Alberta, and when she hasn't been here, her daughters have been here, and I want to say that my family, my two kids and my husband have been just so supportive, and it's just been really wonderful to have family here.
Initially you sort of rallied around Mark when this first happened. When did it sort of switch over, and when did you begin to think that he was the one who killed Bev?
I guess for me, yeah, naturally, my husband and I we take care of people. That's kind of our nature, and that's what you do when family's in trouble. I guess for me, I started thinking, this is a man who makes things happen in his profession and his life, and nothing was happening. Nothing was happening in terms of finding Bev's killer. Nothing was happening in moving the case forward.
What is the first clue for you that it may have been Mark when you were told by police that Bev was killed in the backyard, and you phoned Mark and we heard the conversation in court?
That was hard. It was hard to do. It was still hard for me at that point to even think that this man could have done that.
Do you feel like what the Crown said, it was a show for the jury?
Yes,
What part of it?
pretty much all.
The words,
The words.
the excessive words.
The wordiness, the details, the laughing, quoting a little Shakespeare.
Was it almost more hurtful to see his reaction than not seeing his reaction at all?
It was like Bev was nothing.
Yeah, I guess at the center of this, here's our little sister, beautiful, strong woman with so much to offer and so much more to give. And not only is she chopped up and murdered, but she's callously thrown in the back seat of a car like a broken old doll. Just tossed away. It's really, really hard to take.
Or killer out there, as the defense suggested?
No.
I've thought about it a long time, and it's just too implausible.
Why is that?
Who's going to come, fake a robbery, come to someone's backyard, take a body away? It doesn't add up.
So in your mind, the only person that could have done this was Mark.
I mean, I think it's pretty obvious to a lot of people. Foremost, Bev was a really good mom. She was very much a hands-on mom. She was building Lego with her boys, going for walks, exploring, talking to them, playing silly word games. She would have taught them to polka. She would have taught them to do a wild polka.
She was fun. She was witty. She was worldly. She detested violence against women. It would have been appalling to her to see how her life ended. Fighting against a monster. Fighting for her life. She wasn't a big lady. And it wouldn't have mattered if she was big or small.
I know you're hoping for an appeal, but if there's a review and there's not enough grounds for an appeal, how will you find justice for this crime?
Well, Bev had really strong convictions. I think one of the ways that we honor her is make sure her boys know about her. We've talked a little bit about talking with some of her friends and maybe making a donation to a women's shelter or something in that nature. We're not sure what yet.
If the criminal appeal doesn't go through, has your family thought at all about a wrongful death suit?
No.
I don't know if this is possible. Could you tell us a little bit about these photos that you have here? You okay?
Yeah,
Guess a trip down.
Yeah, I just tried to find some current photos, and we don't have a lot.
So here.
Well, if Bev were still alive and it was one of us, she would be moving heaven and earth to get justice. I think she would have gotten stronger. She had very strong convictions. I think they would have grown. I think she would have been had a very good career. She would have had lots of fun with her boys.
Before the judge released Mark Stobie, and I think it was a little bit of a rare move, he addressed him. Do you remember what he said? He said, you know, that the boys looked like their dad, and that to make them their priority and to honor her memory for them. Do you read into that at all, or what do you think that means?
I thought it was an unusual, I thought it was, I'm not sure what I read into it, but I thought it was a very nice thing for the judge to say, to point out that Bev needs to be honored. She needs to be honored to her boys. And it's Mark's responsibility to do that.
Do you think you might have had better luck had this been a judge and not a jury?
No, I don't think so.
This is new to us. I think I've been to traffic court once. This is not.
We don't hang out in the courts.
How important is it to you to find a conviction? Like, is that important, or is it just important people remember Bev? Like,
It's
how
important there is conviction, but we're not going to, I think in the court of public opinion, and there's a conviction.
I think every day of his life he needs to honor his wife, who gave him the opportunity to have two beautiful boys.
Is there anything else you want to share with us?
I don't think so. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I want to thank the Hilton Hotel, too, for setting this up for us. Yeah. And once again, I want to thank you for being very respectful to the family and kind.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and when my husband's been sick and when I couldn't come out, I sent the girls.
Yeah.
Yeah, they all came.
Hopefully you don't have to do it long.